All right, now it's time for our featured guest. Please welcome to the stage from Mesa Public Schools, newly appointed Superintendent, Dr. Ember Conley. Dr. Conley. Welcome to Mesa Morning Live.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
There was a little music there. I'm not sure what that was. We were trying to get something school-related, but...
I think the only school-related song that I can remember is School's Out for Summer.
Yeah, I know. Without, that's the one that everybody remembers. Well, tell us a little bit, before we delve into professionally, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and how did you get here?
Wow, that's a good question. So, was born in Utah. Actually, we say by default because it was the closest hospital to where my parents lived, which was about 60 miles away over the Colorado border in a community of about 300. Moved to a big town of Dolores, Colorado when I was 6. And then when I was 8, my mom and dad expanded their business down to Arizona. So we traveled back and forth about every other week. So I was able to go to Arizona State University, graduated with my bachelor's degree from ASU, first-generation college student. So there's some background there. So listening to Dr. Haney and the great partnerships really resonates with me. And then went back, worked in the family business, and kept finding myself working with children and loved children. Got my teaching certificate, kind of moved up the ladder, became an assistant principal, started my doctorate degree, and at the same time adopted my little guy, who's now 9, and moved back to Arizona. So I've kind of done the back and forth between Colorado and Arizona. The last 5 years, I landed a position in Park City, Utah as a superintendent. So I was there and had the opportunity to apply for Mesa Public, and I'm thrilled to be back in Arizona.
So from a little town of 300 people... 300
people.
...to the largest school district in the state, is that correct?
And 50 largest in the nation.
Wow. How many schools are in the district?
Right, so we have 82 schools.
Wow.
And then we have other programs that we consider school sites. 64,000 students, and our numbers are coming in. We've been doing our count every day. Our school started on Wednesday, and we have about 9,000 employees. And the joke is, you know, most of our high schools are bigger than the towns, of course, that I grew up in. And so it's definitely, I keep hearing, we're just big. You have landed into a large school district, so lots of learning.
So school started when?
Wednesday.
So look at all the weather.
Yeah, we've had
motion.
some interesting situations, anywhere from, you know, the power lines and trees being down, and then of course this morning with electricity. Our district phones were out all day yesterday, which can be a blessing in disguise at times. Sorry, I do have bad humor at times.
No, that's good. That's good. All your secrets are safe here. There's just people watching on Channel 11.
Right, I know, great. But our phones are still not quite working, so in all seriousness, if parents are trying to get a hold of their children or have something, they're gonna have to go to the schools.
Because hardly any kids have cell phones. It's hard to get a hold of them.
Right. Yeah. And then, of course, our electricity is still out in some of our schools. So Mesa High graduate, I hear Mesa High is out of power this morning.
Wow. That's just a fun way to kick off the year.
It is.
Someday this will be funny, just probably not today.
Well, you know, there's a lot of, these things are pretty easy to deal with when you get in the world of education.
Well, so to sit back, you were in Park City, which is beautiful, and then you're looking at this challenge, this opportunity, the job that is now yours. Why did you want to tackle it?
I've always believed that I wanted to help as many children that I could, and have been open to the possibilities around that. And actually, I have a friend that was an employee, still is an employee of Mesa Public, and she knew that I had gone to my board in Park City and asked, or not asked, but it had said that I had done the work that I needed to do, and I was gonna do something different. and she contacted me, and I'm gonna say she harassed me. She texted me, Facebooked me, called me, and kept saying, you need to apply. And I said, I'm not going to apply. I'll never even get an interview. All my experience has been in small districts. And she said, just apply. And I'm very, very honored to have been selected, have a tremendous team. And that's our theme this year, is one team. And so looking around the room and listening, you know, to the guests on the show, and of course the Chamber of Commerce, we have tremendous partnerships in our school district.
That's great. What's the biggest challenge, the biggest hurdle that you have?
Wow, biggest hurdle. You know, we're gonna hear a lot about this. We have 4 main priorities that we're working on with our school. 3rd grade reading. We want all of our students reading by 3rd grade. By 8th grade, we need them proficient in math, and I can give you all the research around, you know, why those metrics. 11th grade English language arts, and then of course our graduation rate. Right now our graduation rate is about 75%, so if you think 1 in 4 are graduating on time, and there's some significant work to be done around that.
Where does that stack up nationally or statewide? Or?
You know, we're right at the we're right at the state average. National is a little bit higher right now, but when you look at the opportunities that we have here in Mesa, and I keep saying the support, but in the world of public education, to have the amount of pride that we have in the community of our school district and the partnerships, I really believe that we can easily get to 95%.
There you go. Which, let me think, if I remember, 95% would be higher than the 75%.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yep.
I went to one of the goodest schools when I was growing up. Well, Mesa Mesa Public Schools has a history of a lot of success. How do you plan on parlaying that and making it even stronger? You know,
another wonderful thing that we have in Mesa Public is the family feel and the longevity that we have in our staff. It's been great to go out and meet some of our new, well, not some, I've made my rounds to all the departments, and to be able to say, how long have you been here? You know, if you've been here 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And there's a significant amount of our staff that have been in our district for 20 to 30 years. Wow. Which is really unheard of in public education. And so being able to continue to recruit and retain our staff is a major priority.
You know, I know a lot of people, you know, grew up in Mesa and they just stay there. I mean, it's just got that kind of a feel to it. It's
generations.
Yeah. How many people here come from or involved in a multi-generational Mesa family? Your parents, your kids grew up. Yeah, clap so they can hear it at home. Yeah, there you go. That's really cool. So what would your message like to be? What would you like to tell these folks, both here and at home, that Mesa community or Mesa schools are on the right path?
We're using a framework called professional learning communities, and it really means we're learning together. And we have, it's really 3 big ideas: focus on learning, focus on results, and build collaborative teams. And the partnership aspect, because it really takes parents, students, staff, community to wrap around our children to be able to do the things that we need to do. You hear a lot about social emotional learning and the mental well-being of our students right now, as you see the rise of suicide, anxiety. And so this is where we need the support of our community to be able to, first of all, understand that our children are facing different things than what we've faced even in the last 10, 15 years, and to be able to continue to provide those resources for our families. And that's what we see in Mesa.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you know, high school, what a difference. It's a whole different world from with social media and all the pressures that are involved in that.
It has, you know, and social media has changed the world of teaching and the administration of even how you react to different situations. But there is a tremendous amount of stress put on our children with social media. Having a daughter, my daughter's 20 and in college, and watching her go through that as a young teenager, it was eye-opening for me as a parent.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It is, and you know, as you look at, we hear the opioid crisis, and what we aren't translating that into is, while we have adults that have been addicted to opioids, we also now have children that are being born through that, and the behaviors are much different. And so being able to train our staff around being able to manage the behaviors and being able to engage our students at a level where they can learn in the environments that help them be successful.
Wow. You know what? I think we've got a few minutes. Let's see where we are on time-wise. I bet we have some people out here that might have a question, and you know, this is a great opportunity. We'll get Clyde will run a mic to you if anybody's got a question for our guests here. Oh, here we go, right down here. This is a pop quiz.
I know, I'm like, okay, throw me a softball, right? So let's make sure I can answer it.
How has Red for Ed impacted Mesa School District?
You know, Red for Ed's, wow, great question. So as I was selected in March for the next superintendent, it was really when Red for Ed was gearing up. And actually on my first day on the job, which was May the 29th, was a day that all of our staff had to come back after being out for 4 days. So I think, first of all, there is a tremendous awareness that's been brought to the greater public around public education. And just a personal story of how that relates. I was, unfortunately, a single mom trying to raise my daughter on a $24,000 teaching salary, and passionate about my work, but you think, is that a way to raise our children and be able to grow our families? And so there's a real awareness that our educators are professionals and need to be recognized as professionals. And since the recession of 2008 and then moving forward, the funding had never been restored. So there's some great awareness that has taken place. I think the most unfortunate thing is it's turned political. And given our national environment with politics, and I'm staying as neutral as I can on this, I feel that it's unfortunate that it's hit the political arena, because the awareness for what our educators do and the importance, I loved what Dr. Haney said, is education breaks the cycle of poverty, and it builds our community and our economy, and so it's very important to keep that at the forefront.
Good question and a great answer. If anybody else has a question, raise your hand. Well, I know we talked about this. Mesa Public Schools has the most A+ schools of excellence of any district in the state, with 26. Why do you think that is?
Wow, I keep saying this, but first of all, we have a long-standing staff. So we're not dealing with, the continual training of our teachers and our staff, the community partnerships and the belief in families. And regardless of our demographics that have transitioned, in the last 15 years, we have much higher poverty than what we did 15 years ago. There still is a belief that education is the right place for our students. And so there's excellence in our schools. 20 blue ribbon, national blue ribbon schools, which are recognized by the Department of Education. We have excellence, and that's our vision, unprecedented excellence in education. We have a beautiful mission statement, and you hear these, mission, vision, big organizations. But our mission really speaks to the promise that we have to students, to know every student by name, to serve them by strength, and to make sure that they're prepared to graduate ready for college, career, and community. And it speaks volumes for what Mesa does.
That's great. I just had a question texted to me from the audience member.
Right, I love the way you're using technology.
What are you forecasting for student population growth?
We project about roughly 1.5% increase every year. And right now we're hitting those projections right on. So this will be going into our third day of what we call, and I don't like these words, live body counts. You know, come up with education. We have some great words.
Yeah.
But you know, we have our computer system that has the enrollment versus how many students are actually showing up, and right now we're looking good. And it's been interesting to watch where different schools, where the population is growing. And that's a lot of work that we do with the city and local government, is being able to project where's the growth, where's the number of building permits, what do we need to start projecting for. So, you know, something that is on conversation, of course, is our bond and our override that's gonna be on the ballot. There's gonna be lots of informational meetings around that. We are, the board has approved a $300 million bond to be on the ballot, and that is really to continue the renovation and repairs of our learning environments. We have, again, 82 schools, and many of them are, I think over 50% of our schools are over 40 years old. And so, wow. Right, that's a lot of repairs that we have to do. Continuing to improve our technology and, of course, safety. To increase our safety on our campuses is at the forefront. So, and then the override, I would say the biggest talking point with our override is going from a 10% override, which has been approved since 1995, but going to a 15%. And the biggest reason is our state mandate to increase minimum wage. And when you look at, we have roughly 6,000 of our staff that are support staff. So that we have 45% of them within $1 of minimum wage. Wow. 45% of our 6,000 employees within $1 now of minimum wage. And so as we're going to the voters and asking, it's to be able to pay our employees what they deserve.
Wow. All right, here was another question. What are some of your favorite innovative learning programs in the district?
Wow. Innovative. Okay, so let's see. We have some outstanding STEM labs at our high schools in partnerships with our defense industries. We have 2 dual language schools that we're planning on expanding. Dual language is one of my passions to bring to Mesa Public Schools. Putting more technology and computer science and being able to provide industry certifications. We hear that a lot with our MCC around what we can do, and working with partnerships around not only our career and tech ed, but our EVIT. And I would say even being able to look at our elementary schools like Zaharis Elementary that uses what we call inquiry-based, so problem-based learning. And we have our traditional schools. So, you know, you think of innovation, but the beautiful thing about Mesa is the choice that we have. There's something for every family.
If you were, you know, the valley is just continuing to grow, and it's no end in sight. If you were to talk to a prospective business that was thinking about coming to Mesa, maybe they're looking at other sites in the valley, of course, schools are always an important part of that.
Always.
What would your pitch be to XYZ company that's thinking about moving to Arizona and bringing 10,000 employees?
This is an easy question.
Well, I try.
So here's why, is I have a 9-year-old that's in Mesa Public Schools. And it was an easy decision to be able to say, this is an excellent education system for all children. My child is special needs. He was adopted and has some really unique differences, and he's wired differently. And the amount of care that we provide for all children resonates. And then I would go back to, you know, both our early childhood offerings. We're expanding our preschool programs, working collaboratively with the city. Our goal is to provide universal all-day preschool for all students in Mesa Public Schools. So that's something that's a vision. It's out there. It's going to take some time, and we know that. But then also being able to look at a business and say, what type of graduate do you need? What are the certifications? What are the apprenticeships that we can work together and make sure that you have a workforce that stays in the community, that can support them and themselves and their family while providing the workforce that you need.
If anybody here or at home watching this has any questions, what's the best way for them to have a concern, a question answered? Is it online? Is it? We
have lots of ways. We have a big social media presence through Facebook and Twitter, but also we've set up a specific email address. It's called share@mpsaz.org. So all of our email addresses have that mpsaz.org. But specifically with Share is an opportunity to, if you have an idea, a question, a concern with a solution, or let's get some people together to collectively come together for a solution. Oh, is that a $20 fine?
That is. And you know what's so cool about it? Guess who it was?
Was it the $50?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's.
What a popular Mesa High former graduate.
You know what? Now, let me tell you what would be cool. This is just a thought. We've had you up here twice today to promote your new business. You know what would be awesome? You know that $50 gift card? Why don't you just give that to the United Food Bank? All right, you're in. He's got it. I want to make a connection here. I feel like Chuck Woolery, you guys. We've got a love connection because it's $50 and that'll go to a great cause. So you didn't want to have to break a 20. Yeah, just do it that way. A lot easier. A great call, man. Did you see that?
That's in years of being in Rotary and being fined. So, you become very attuned to these things.
Now, be honest, for a second, did you panic that it might have been your phone?
I did. But then I remembered that I turned mine completely off, so it wasn't the ring. So I was like, oh, I'm safe.
That's awesome. Well, one thing, our only complaint, thank you for being here. We appreciate you getting up and coming and sharing your passion for the kids. One thing we did have a complaint about you was you're driving a very dirty car. Now, I know...
Probably. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, you're probably right, especially that storm.
Well, with the last couple of storms. So we have a solution to every problem here at Mesa Morning Live. This is for being our special guest, and it's also a way to promote one of our greatest members. There's a $100 detail gift card to Cobblestone.
Thank you.
And that's for you.
Thank you.
And I know people pay attention to you anyway, but they'll have even more respect for you when you pull up in a brand new, sparkly looking car.
Well, you know, any parent knows this, that when you have a child that eats in your car, that there's some interesting things that then occur in your car.
A little science experiment.
There is, so thank you for that. That's very kind.
It's like a petri dish. Don't thank me. Thank our good friends at Cobblestone Auto Spa. They're all over the valley. Wherever you are, you can find one. And go get your car detailed. Thank you again for being here. And congratulations on this huge opportunity and challenge. And would love to have you back in the future and kind of do a report card and find out where you are and where you need to go.
Well, you know, in 5 years, I hope to be able to report back that we've hit all of our metrics and we've actually exceeded those. So that's something I would love to be able to do.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here. How about a big round of applause for our guest, Ember Conley. Thank you very much.